I think we know a guy who can help. I was under the impression you two were no longer on speaking terms, Master Wayne.
Not to hit on you, but you know what chains you'd look really good in? Handcuffs.
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and it's so weird. I had to rent a car because my car is in the shop. No, they don't provide a loaner. There was only one car. I went there, they're like, oh, we only have one car. I was like, oh, you only have one type of car? They're like, we only have a single car. I was like, is there an event or something like that? And it was a Kia Soul. It was a white Kia Soul. But it's a different year. I think it's fairly recent. And man, like everything's just a little bit off. I don't know. It's got the rear view camera and the digital dashboard, but I still prefer all the old things are good and the new things are bad. It's just taking me a little while to adjust. Everything, like the seat's a little narrower. It's also a little bit taller. A guy just passed me at 80 miles per hour to go to a stoplight. That's innovative. Anyway, so I did a video yesterday about how you'll never believe this. I did a video about how old fans suck. Specifically, not all of them, but you know what I'm talking about. Beards. Yes, they all have beards because they're very, very manly. Talking about Disney princess movies. Oh, okay. That's why he sped around me. He ran through the red light. Okay. So he's just... This reminds me of every time I try to get someone into investing. They're always like, what if the entire market crashes and I lose all my money? I say, then everybody does. Like, then it's Mad Max. Then you get a four-wheel drive vehicle and some shotguns and you start forming your own tribe. Like, what is this? Everybody lost their money. If everybody lost their money, they would just say, okay, today did not count. All right? Like, we're not just gonna sit there like everyone's like, no, we ain't got no money no more. Like, they're gonna it's like in, what is it, the Dark Knight Rises, when they go to the stock exchange and make a bunch of trades by gunpoint. Yeah, as soon as they leave, everyone's just like, yeah, that didn't count. Everything from today doesn't count. Anyway, so I did a video about how the new fans just look at the old fans. Instead of seeing them as a resource, they see them as a burden and an embarrassment. As always happens, what I say is first extremely controversial, then it's just slightly annoying, and then it becomes commonplace. And this idea that the old fans, the birthday party clowns, the geeks and gamers types, they don't just like suck a little, they suck a lot. Like, they're awful. They're awful as fans, they're awful as people. They're just, what do you not want to be? Oh, I mean, I don't want to be like a big, fat, miserable guy who just says, like, the 80s were better. Oh, there's a couple million guys like that. It's like, oh, Jesus, that's terrible. But I think I emphasized how bad the old fans were and just kind of brushed past how good the new fans are. They are the best fans that have ever existed. And somebody was pointing out something in the comments. They're like, did you notice how deep their knowledge base is? And some of these people literally started reading comics like a year or two ago. Meanwhile, you got YouTubers who claim to have been reading comics for 15, 20, 30, 40 years. And all they ever discuss, when they do discuss comics at all, except for just to generally say they're bad now, they were good then, is they will only discuss the most popular books or runs or characters. So they'll talk about The Dark Knight Returns, but they'll just say, oh yeah, The Dark Knight Returns, oh, it was so good. And then not talk about it at all. But they'll never do anything that was, like, they'll never talk about Alan Davis on Batman and the Outsiders. They'll never talk about Norm Brayfogle on Detective Comics. Again, these are Batman comics. They're not that obscure. They'll talk about Rob Liefeld because he's, quote, based. But they're not talking about Cruel. What do you know about Cruel? Y'all don't know about Cruel. Mark Pacella on art. Cruel. He's got a, well, not Mark Pacella, but Cruel has a giant ponytail with, I believe, a spike. They don't talk about GW Bridge. And the thing about comics is, you can learn a lot in your first year with just a bicycle and a dream. Like, you don't need much. I can't imagine having the internet. Oh, by the way, read comic online, not read comics online. Pay attention. Whenever I say this, I'll say, like, read comic online is down. People are like, I just went to it. Read comic online, not read comics online. It's down again. And it's back up, which is like rcostation.xyz. They're both down and have been down for a couple days. Batcave.biz, which has got the worst UI. It looks like they have the new comics from last week. But, oh, by the way, I found a comic book store that would take my money. It was actually weirdly difficult. In May, I believe it was $90 of comics that I paid for them and to them. And then for June, I believe it was like 140. So that was a massive jump. And that's just the new comics. But when I first started reading comics, you know, it was just kind of came out of the blue. I mean, I had read G.I. Joe, but I just jumped and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I just knew stuff from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. So I knew who the X-Men were, but just like 5 of them. And then I jump in and it's the freaking Outback era. And I don't know what the fuck is going on. You got Wolverine and Rogue on a high-speed train. Something about a country called Genosha. They're calling mutants gene jokes, which I didn't understand. It was gene jokes, so I thought they were calling them Jenna jokes. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But I liked it, and I was interested in it, and I found out more. And by 1989, I knew the most massive part of comics history. Now, yeah, at the time, it was, quote, only 50 years. But even if I hadn't read something, I knew about it. I knew the context of it. I even knew what happened in it. I didn't read the Kree-Skrull War, but I knew that, what was it, Neil Adams and Roy Thomas worked on it. I knew that Rick Jones used to be a super popular character, and like Ben Grimm was like the Wolverine of the early 70s. Go read some back issues. He's like in every ad. They just love that shit. That's kind of mind-blowing to think about, like, The Thing as like their go-to badass character, but he was. There's really no barriers, especially in the digital age, to knowledge and understanding of, and that's what, like I said, that's what I said yesterday. That's why these new fans are so amazing, because they don't see any distinction between comics and manga and anime and Warhammer and Gunpla. I like saying that word. And video games and movies and streaming, and it's all just fun. That sounded kind of gay, but video title. And they know a lot. I'm watching this, you know, so somebody like, oh, if you like this, you should check out this. And so I'm watching these videos, and they're freaking awesome. These guys know so much, and they will admit that they started reading because of Absolute Batman 1 2 years ago, and they heard about it on TikTok. And there is no excuse for these guys with 15, 20, 30, 40 years to only, what is that one guy? It's like, my sources told me that Zack Snyder's he's going to direct Dark Knight Returns. You read Dark Knight Returns? You're barely literate. You're clearly well below average intelligence. You read Dark Knight Returns. Did you read the words, or the Batman was a robot and he fought Superman and he beat him up? Did you notice the not so subtle criticism of Reagan and Reaganism in the 1980s? No, Frank Miller's based. He would never do that. He's done that throughout his entire career. Made fun of Republicans, made fun of conservatives. He's patriotic, but he has always just absolutely clowns over and over and over again for decades. You read Dark Knight Returns? No, you didn't. You heard of it. You heard of it, and you've heard of Frank Miller, and you've gotten a generally good impression of him. So, I want the Zack Snyder to direct the Dark Knight Returns. I'm going to be so happy when Batman turns into a robot. That's what happens, right? I'm exaggerating for comedic effect, but not much. It's like, my insiders just told me, Soupy Girls, it didn't do so good at the movies again. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, my clogged heart has never been as full of laud and love as it is now. But yeah, short video, amazing video, best video ever. The new fans are the best fans who have ever existed. They know so much in so little time. There's this one of my favorite, I don't know if they have a YouTube, they definitely have a TikTok. It's two trans people in Australia. It is the best comics TikTok out there. It is two trans people who are very clearly trans. There's not a point where you go, oh, I think they're trans. You could tell they're trans from space. They're going over John Byrne era X-Men, and they love it. They are literally zooming in on the backgrounds to read the titles of the magazines in the what is it called, malt shop, where the scene where Kitty Pryde meets Storm and asks, "Can I touch your hair?" She doesn't literally say that, but she effectively says that. They know so much of it, and they don't look like they're old. They certainly weren't around in the 70s. How are these people learning? Okay, so if you don't come from the aspect or the vector of, I'm old and I hate things and I'm bloated and I have a beard, you can learn and love comics really fast. And you can even learn about Cruel. It was drawn by Mark Pacella, who we all hated. It was actually extremely frustrating. Yeah, so I'm almost at my doctor's appointment, so I'm going to pretend like I just ran out of stuff and come up with a thesis very quickly. Yeah, so, well, no, actually, this is my thing, because I was just thinking about this right before I left here. It's not that the old fans suck, it's that we hear from the old fans who suck. And we hear from the fake geek girls. And there's very little difference between the two of them. Between Heather Antos and a bearded mediocrity, they both have the same knowledge base, the same thimble-deep knowledge of comics. They mostly talk about culture war. When they mention a comic, they're just going to say, like, Days of Future Past, because everybody's heard of Days of Future Past. Oh, by the way, I'm watching X-Men 97. I watched the first 3 episodes of the second season. I'm rewatching. Well, then I went back and finished the first season. I think I dipped out like episode 6 or 7. It wasn't that it was bad. It was just that I felt like it was just a speed run of moments that everyone has heard of. It was just like, hey, you remember Claremont? Hey, you remember this? Hey, you remember this? Not that it was member berries, but they used them so much. Whereas the end, they start doing their own thing, and God, I finally understand Bastion. I never understood Bastion. Like, what is Bastion? I finally understand Apocalypse, like his whole story, and the Ascanis, like that, it actually made that era really clear. I used to just bebop around, so I was like, I kind of know what's going on. Now I actually do. It's great. But Wokey Marvel wants to kill me. My insides say that Zack Snyder's going to direct an 8-hour. Oh, it's going to be so great, and it's just one big fight scene. They just skip to the end of the comic like I do when I flip through the pages and I don't read them. And it's just going to be a robot Batman beating up. Sorry, I'm having I'm having organ failure right now. Gotta go, Patriots. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.